Hi everyone, this is Kim, and today I'm going to be talking about crystals that you can use to help you with grief relief. Meaning you're having a bad time, you're sad. So we're going to show you some crystals that you can use and how you can use them to help, kind of boost your joy level, make you feel happier and help you get rid of some of that grief. So first off, I want to start with, of course, black tourmaline, because I have my crystals all over the place. Black tourmaline, this one has quartz. You might even want to just use a plain black tourmaline with no quartz. Either way is fine. But black tourmaline, what it does is it transmutes negative energy. So actually, like, negative energy will go into it and then it'll come out positive because it has a positive negative side, just like a battery. Think of it like a battery. So the energy goes in one side, out the other side, and it transmutes. It comes out more positive, more happy, so that you're not just reflecting back any kind of negative energy. Something like an obsidian is very reflective, right? So it actually reflects back. So if you were to look at obsidian, see how reflective that is? So you're actually sending that, sadness, that grief back out there. And I don't know if that's necessarily what we want to do. Kind of, we don't want to just leave our junk all over the place. So I like to use the black tourmaline because it transmutes the negative energies, brings in the negative, sends out the positive. Now, that's going to happen. I mean, we all are going to have good days and bad days. We do not live a life of complete, joy or Pleasantville, kind of fake like of existence. We have ups and downs. But the kind of grief I'm talking about here is, one that it's extended. Not just you're having a bad day. You got up, you stubbed your toe, you locked your keys in the car with a car running, something I would do. I wouldn't call that grief. I would call that having a really bad day. I'm talking about grief, sadness, lingering, even depression. All right, so now I have to say that what I'm talking about does not replace you going to see, your medical practitioner, a psychiatrist, psychologist, doctor, whatever. This is not meant to replace that. So if you do feel you have extensive grief or depression, please go see an appropriate medical professional. I'm just giving you some tips on how you can use crystals to help support any kind of program you might be in, if you are in one. Okay, so black tourmaline, definitely on my list. Okay, now in terms of other kinds of crystals that you can use, of course, I always talk about selenite, and I have other videos about cleansing your aura, but definitely selenite, because selenite helps to keep you, keep the debris away. So when you have this extensive grief going on, it's also way out here, in your energy field. So you really want to keep that cleansed as much as possible. So selenite is a really good one for that. Apache tear, it's black obsidian. It's kind of shaped like a little teardrop. Is one to help with grief. But you have to be very careful when working with black obsidian because it is incredibly grounding. It can ground you too much. So you want to use it just for a short amount of time until you know how it affects you. It's like when you take that medication, do not operate machinery. Well, it's kind of the same thing. Be very careful when using black obsidian because it can be a little too grounding. Okay, so in terms of those are like black crystals that I would recommend. You can also use shungite, numite, any one of those really to help. But you also want to bring joy in the space, right? So if you're working on the lower chakras and you're working on, protection, transmuting negative energies, that's great. But you also want to bring joy into this space, into your body, into your energy field. You want to bring vitality back in, all right? So some of the crystals that I love for this are red aventurine or red jasper. Here's a red aventurine, has a little sparklies in it. A rough piece of red jasper. All right, so The reds usually are very good for vitality and bringing that vitality back, you know, that energy, that will to live, courage to survive, that kind of thing. All right. You can also use something like a smoky quartz. Now, a smoky quartz is really good for fear reduction if you have fear. And this is the one I use. I absolutely love this smoky quartz. And I just got this, and I haven't meditated with it, so I don't really know how it works yet, but this is red quartz, so I'm looking forward to working with this one. Red tiger eye. I'm just looking at I can see all the crystals I have all around me in boxes. All right, so you want to bring that vitality back in. Also, the solar plexus. So we want to increase that joy. We want to increase our self-esteem, our will, right? This is where our gut instinct is. So we want to increase that or open it or balance it or however you want to call it. So some of the great crystals for that, and I don't even have my box out over here to show you, but you guys probably know citrine, yellow jasper, yellow calcite. Those are really great. Orange calcite, by the way, also for vitality. They're just like really happy, fun, joyous kind of crystals that really just help you to feel good. And you know, the color has a lot to do with it. Think about the color. Think about how you feel when you look at the color yellow. And you know, it can be so vibrant. It's the sun, it's life. So yellow crystals are really good for that. And my favorite all-time one for helping me feel better in general is citrine, a good piece of natural citrine. You can also work with lithium quartz, or also my favorite, lepidolite, you know, in terms of helping to stabilize mood balance kind of thing, reduce stress. Those work really well. Are one of my favorites. And you have all the pink ones, the pink crystals for, or the green ones for your heart center. So it really depends on what you're going through in terms of this grief. What is the grief related to? Is it grief related to like a heartbreak, a lost loved one, or end of a relationship, something along those lines? Somebody really hurt your heart. That's where a lot of our grief is, actually, in our heart. So you can look at some of the crystals that you would use for the heart chakra. Of course, rose quartz. Now, I have to say, there's something about a rose quartz palm stone when you're feeling really shitty, when you're feeling really not in a happy place, you know, or you're really stressed. Rose quartz palm stones are really great. Now, I love rough crystals. You guys know I'm all about the rough. I mean, some like it rough. I like it really rough. But when I need something calming, I do like to grab, you know, one that's cotton polished. And I do love this rose quartz palm stone because it fits so nice on your palm. And it's just easy to sit with. It's very soothing. All right, and I think I talked about this in another video. I had a family member who I gave a rose quartz palm stone to, who knows nothing about crystals, and found it very calming and soothing. It's just, you know, a lot of it has to do with the shape as well as the color and the gentle, you know, frequency of the rose quartz. It's very, very gentle. And also when you have it in the, you know, in this kind of cut palm stone, it's very calming. It's so gentle and subtle and beautiful. Also, you can go with rhodochrosite, you know, even if you wanted to have a heart shape, really great for that. Or the rhodonite. The rhodonite wouldn't be my first one to go for, but it's definitely one to consider. Again, it's all different for everybody. I also really love pink tourmaline. Now, when I hold this one, I have my pink tourmaline. It's in a rough form. It's definitely a stronger sensation, right? It is very rough, and so it has a stronger sensation to me, a stronger frequency. It's not as subtle. So those are just you know, a few that you can use. You could also go with some of the greens if you wanted to do green aventurine. There's a green aventurine heart. Any one of these would be really good for helping, you know, heal or work on the heart center. Also, I talked about selenite. I almost forgot to mention howlite. You can also use howlite. nice piece of halite in your bath water is very cleansing and calming and soothing. So if you have a lot of grief, this would be a really good one. Just know it's going to dissolve in the bath water, because we know that taking a bath is very therapeutic. All right, so how to use these. I'm just checking my list to make sure. You know, I forgot, I didn't bring over my box of greens, but fancy jasper is a really happy stone too. If you've ever worked with fancy jasper, it's just so happy. It's like you look at it, you're like, woohoo, you know. So you want to think about that too. You might even just choose crystals based on how happy they make you feel when you look at them, based on the color and the appearance, you know. They just kind of make you happy based on the appearance, which is okay, because we're looking for anything that's going to help make us happy, help us to raise our vibrations. So how do you use these crystals? I mean, you can, in many cases, you'll probably be holding it in your receiving hand so that you can actually receive the energy of that crystal, and I have a video on how to determine which is your receiving or sending hand. But you can also, if you're not even sure which is which, you can use your left hand for this, because your left hand is the one that is connected to the heart. So you can really basically hold any of these crystals that I'm talking about in your left hand to receive that energy to go to your heart to heal your heart. So I think that that's a really great idea. Or you can meditate with it on your heart chakra. Or you can wear jewelry if you have a bracelet. And I have some bracelets on. You know, wearing it on the left hand, left arm would be really great as well. But you don't have to. It just kind of helps a little bit. Kind of gives it another, you know, layer of, if you want to call it, another layer of energy. A little bit more support. Gives them more support toward supporting your intention of what you're looking to do. You can also sleep with your crystals. Put it under your pillow if you wanted to do that. You can make little mojo bags. Carry that around with you. Put it in your purse or your pocket or something like that. You can of course make sprays and elixirs, and I have videos on how to make those. You can make grids, have a video on that. You can also use it, like I said, in meditation. And that's basically it. These are my favorite ones. You know what I did forget to mention, and I'm sitting here looking right at them. Sometimes when I'm having a really bad day, now again, this is not grief. Is having a really bad day, but you can incorporate this into your program if you do want to work with crystals during a period of grief. You can go with also the blue calcite. Blue calcite is extremely calming, and not only is it calming, it also can help with communication. So if you want to communicate with your higher self, or for example, you have a lost loved one, you just recently lost someone, and you want to attempt, to communicate with them in the spirit realm, you can certainly go with the blue crystals, because not only are they calming, but they help with the throat chakra and help you to communicate, so that you can try to communicate with them, whether it's through dreams or meditation. So I highly recommend grabbing blue calcite, or you could even go with celestite, is a good one, or even, angelite is a good one, or blue lace agate. They're all really good. Lapis lazuli, sodalite. You can go with any of those to help during this time of grief, so that, if you wanted to communicate, to try to get more pieces of the puzzle. So maybe you want to communicate something that you're sorry, something that you didn't say. So you want to, I'm sorry that I said that. I'm sorry that I did that. You can use the blue stones to help you with that. Or if you wanted, you can go higher up and do third eye stuff or crown chakra stuff. Now, when you're in a place of grief, I recommend that you also stay very grounded, and that's why I was talking about the black tourmaline. That's really good for that. And also lodestone or hematite, very grounding crystals. Nice piece of lodestone. I love my lodestone, because when we have a lot of grief, we want to sometimes escape, right? We want to no longer, not that we don't want to be here anymore, but we sometimes sleep more, or we're very apathetic. We don't want to do anything really. Of course, those are signs of depression. And again, please, if you're going through that, make sure you get the appropriate help. But staying grounded helps support that. You want to stay here. We want you here. So stay grounded. use the crystals to help you with grounding and vitality and joy and forgiveness and working on your heart space. Don't forget also to get outside, because there's nothing better than being outside. Nothing replaces being outside, getting that warm sun on your face for a few minutes a day, that vitamin D, that life force. The sun is our life force. We want to get that into our bodies. In moderation, of course. So those are just some tips on how to deal with grief. I totally empathize with anybody that's going through a hard time right now. My heart is with you. I love you. And I'm sending you many blessings of healing and love and light. And please make sure that you have a support system, that you're not alone in any of this, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this helpful. Please let me know in the comments below what crystals you use if you're going through a hard time, or maybe other methods that you use, because there are other things. You know, there are herbs and essential oils and exercise and support groups and things like that. So there are many other avenues. I was just kind of going with the crystals today. So thank you for joining me on this journey. You guys know I love you. I'm so appreciative of your support. Please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video. As always, have a blessed day. Bye.